I'm here with Doug Neufeldt from the Schaumburg Athletic Association. Doug, welcome to BCUZ.
Thanks.
Appreciate you coming in.
No problem.
Let's start out with talking about your past involvement. How long you been involved with SAA? And
I've been involved with SAA overall for about 12 years. I started out as just coaching my son's team as a preschooler before pre-kindergarten. Actually, in soccer is one of those sports you can start at 5 years old.
Right.
So actually before, depending on your birthday, you can actually start before you actually get into kindergarten.
Which is always fun, I might add, because my kids were in it before, and to have kids go through any type of sporting activity or with an instructor, and we haven't even had a school instructor yet, is pretty interesting, I think.
Yeah, it's fun to see the kids progress over the years. But I started doing that, and I was doing that for a few years, and they asked me to come and be on the board, and then I was a grade level commissioner for many years, for probably 7 years, and then I took the assistant commissioner's, head commissioner's role, and this year I took over as the head commissioner for the program.
Well, that's great. We really appreciate your involvement from a community member. SAA does a lot of great things, and it's through volunteers like yourself that those great things get done, so we really appreciate that. So when it comes to recreation soccer, what's new and happening, and tell us a little bit about the history of recreation soccer, how long it's been around. And
I mean, the program itself has been around for longer than I know.
Yeah.
I started myself playing as a 5-year-old as well in Elk Grove.
Okay.
I grew up around here, and back then, from seeing then to now,
right,
how soccer's grown. I mean, when I went to Elk Grove High School in the '80s, and we barely had enough kids to form a team then.
Right.
And now you look at the schools, and they get 100 kids trying out for 12 slots basically,
right,
or 11 slots plus subs. It's really neat to see how it's grown, and the recreational side is where everybody starts.
Sure.
There is no travel. It doesn't start till U9, U10.
Right.
So from kindergarten up to 3rd grade or so, everybody starts in the rec program.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very good program for the community, because everything builds from there.
Right. And as far as age groups, you said they can start prior to kindergarten. How old can they go as far as the?
We actually now go all the way through high school.
Okay.
In the recreational side. We just started that last year. Actually, we saw a need that there was a lot of kids, because there's so many kids that like to play now and have
Sure.
played recreational for so long. They get to the high school age and there's nowhere for them to play anymore.
Right. Only so much room.
Right. So the kids that don't make the high school teams, they're kind of left out with nowhere to play. So we started a recreational high school league for those kids to continue playing, just because they enjoyed playing the sport.
Yeah, I think it's awesome to have something for the older kids, because like you said, sometimes the specialty kids get taken care of by the high school, and for parents like us, you want to keep your kids active as long as possible, and to have an offering like that covers them for kind of an intramural type of activity is really a great thing that SA is providing.
It is, and soccer is one of those few sports that, I mean, we're between outdoor and our indoor program, we have soccer going on 26 weeks a year.
Right.
So it's half the year there's something going on with soccer.
Yeah, that's
because we have an 8-week fall and an 8-week spring program that's come together. That's all one season. But then we also have a 10-week indoor program that runs from the 1st of January up, and it just kind of dovetails right in with the spring season. So from the first week of January all the way to the first or second week of June, we have soccer every week.
It's covered. That's a great thing. That's what I was going to ask. That you said 8 weeks is each season?
Yeah, the fall, we have 8 weeks in the fall, which generally goes from the end of August to the end of October. And then we have a break till January, which is when our indoor program starts, which is a separate entity from the outdoor program. The outdoor runs 8 in the fall and then 8 weeks in the spring.
Okay.
That's all one program.
Yeah.
And then we have a separate indoor program.
Sure.
That we run.
That's great.
Which is registering right now, actually, for the January season.
Fantastic. And tell the little bit of difference. This is recreation soccer, and tell us the difference between rec soccer and travel soccer.
The big difference is the travel soccer side is a lot more competitive.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone to now a tryout based kind of system. Historically, it was more of a bring your team, go play kind of situation. Whereas now it's more of a skills based tryout program to advance the players that have that ability to play at that level, to advance their skill levels. And so there's two separate sides of it. There's the rec side, the travel side. The travel side is more for traveling. They travel all over the place to get better matches. And it's actually interesting that you bring that up a little bit, because we actually have been in years past in Schaumburg and SAA, the travel side and the rec side have all been completely separate entities. It's been that way for as long as I can remember. But we're now starting to work together to make one kind of unified soccer program for Schaumburg. Great. So it'll be kind of the rec program will kind of be a springboard, for those kids that are able to into the travel program. But we'll kind of work together so they're all learning the same skills
Right.
from the get-go in kindergarten, and that way everybody's on the same plane.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to have those fundamentals kind of work their way up. And like you said, somebody is, when you talk about any sport, getting the basic fundamentals down and knowing that's going to be similar top to bottom as people progress is really going to benefit all the individuals involved in the program.
Right.
And speaking of fundamentals, your typical recreation soccer coaches, where do they come from? How do you guys recruit them? How do they get trained? That type of thing.
The rec side, it's all parents. It's all parent volunteers. We have the biggest sports program, I believe, in Schaumburg. We have almost 1,000 kids this year, 900 some odd kids in the program.
That's
and
great.
that fluctuates, as I've been a board member, from 900 up to 1,500 we've had in previous years. So it's a big program, and it's all parent driven. Parent coaches, parents help us line the fields.
Right.
It's very, very big parent. We can't do it without all our parents.
Yeah.
It wouldn't run.
Yeah.
But they're all volunteer coaches. We do have a coaching program, a training program that we mandate all of our coaches get training from the Illinois Youth Soccer Association.
Sure.
And there's also other opportunities for them to take other coaching courses up to the the national youth level coaches.
Right. That's great.
But that's where all of our coaches come from. And we also have the same with referees. Our referee program is unique that most all of our referees we have 900 soccer games a season, and all of those games are refereed by youth referees that all come from the recreational soccer program mostly.
Right.
So we have a great referee mentoring program that our referee commissioner Warren Huey does. That is fantastic. It lets the kids earn money. It helps them to grow as an individual.
Right. Yeah, it was pretty neat. My kids all played in the SAA Soccer program, and it was neat to see. My son didn't ref, but he had a couple teammates that were this big growing up, and then all of a sudden to see them reffing when they were older, it's a pretty neat experience to see as a parent, to see kids go through that transformation of being a player and then reffing. And then I think it's an important thing too that when you have the kids that have been in the program start to be refs, that the parents get a better understanding of a ref is just a player too, it's just a kid too. So many times, parents get a little overly zealous
You'd
about.
be surprised at how many times we still have to remind them
Right.
of that.
I bet. But at least, from my standpoint, it's like, wow, that could be my son out there trying to ref do his best. Where sometimes, you get that thinking refs only can, they have to make perfect calls. When the reality is,
Everybody makes mistakes.
Everybody makes mistakes, and that type of thing. And where are the recreation soccer games played?
They're all played at Atcher Park, which is behind Jane Addams Junior High. We have 6 fields there, and we usually run 5 field times a day, so about 25 to 30 games a day on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
And the indoor program is at the Sports Center over on Irving Park Road there, and that runs from January through the mid-March. Registration is open now at saa-online.com.
Great.
And they can find the registration information there. It goes. It's open up until probably the end of December. The games start the first week of January when the kids come back from school.
Okay, great. And as far as the Saturday, Sunday, the girls are on Saturday, and the
Yep,
boys
girls play on Saturday, and the outdoor seasons.
Right.
Girls play on Saturday, boys play on Sundays, which is opposite to baseball and softball. So, and it's really great that the SA does it that way because it really lets the kids play more than one sport.
Sure. Yeah, that's really, really important to get that cross mix when you can.
It
type
is.
of thing. Doug, anything else you want to share as we finish up on rec soccer?
No, just registration's open. Go out there, register, and come on out and play soccer. It's a great sport. I've been playing, for 40. I still play to this day.
Yeah,
I've been playing
that's
for
great.
40 years, and it's a lifetime sport that, and that's what we want to build is kids that enjoy the sport.
Right.
They're not going to play professionally. 99.9% of them. Everybody knows that. But if I can instill a love of the game, that they follow the game for the rest of their lives, that's all we try to do.
That's great. Keep them active the whole time. That's great. Well, Doug, thanks again for coming in.
Thanks for
Appreciate
having
your
me.
involvement with SA. Really good stuff.
Thanks.
We'll be right back after these messages.